Hamroon secondary school teacher's water bottle spiked with chemicals. Justice Minister says reformed criminals should get a chance to clear their criminal records. And Malta to revamp its corporate tax rate. All this and more on Lovin Daily. Good evening, Malta and Gozo, and welcome to another episode of Lovin Daily. My name is Yannick. With me is Tim Diacono. We've got a jam-packed episode for you today, starting with quite a shocking story that's just come in. Tim?
Yeah, so news has come in that a secondary school teacher at the St. George Preka College secondary school in Hamroon, the ex-lyceum, had her drink spiked with some kind of chemical while at school on Monday, this last Monday. A spokesperson for the Education Ministry confirmed this incident with us. They said the police are looking into it and that the school authorities are coordinating to find out who did it and what happened exactly. And the Union of Professional Educators is also investigating the case and pledging not to take things lightly. So the details that we have so far are as follows. The incident took place on Monday. A teacher at the school took a drink of water from her own water bottle, so one she brought from school, one she got with her from home. And when she drank, she had a very serious reaction. She went foaming at the mouth, vomiting, suffered urinary incontinence, and she had to seek medical treatment. So she's believed to be fine, but obviously it's just extremely scary because it could have been so much worse, and it's really shocking to think that how anyone could have done something like this. It's an issue of very basic safety for teachers. You can't have teachers not feeling safe at school.
Yeah, it's quite shocking because, I mean, we're all kids. I guess we all had teachers we didn't like, but to go as far as to, I mean, we still need to find out exactly what it was and maybe some more details, but to think that someone actually thought of poisoning the teachers is, as you say, very scary. Hopefully we'll have resolution to this case as soon as possible. On to our next story. Malta's new Justice Minister has proposed that people who have served prison sentences should be able to have their criminal record cleared once a certain amount of time has passed. In an as yet unpublished interview with Lovin Malta, the minister argued, that people should be given a second chance. He said that in the current circumstances, there needed to be an element of compassion. He basically made the argument that if someone has reformed themselves, is on a better path, then they shouldn't be judged for the past. The cannabis reform that was introduced recently, in fact, introduced the right for people convicted on possession charges to clear their name, and it seems that the Justice Minister now wants to take it a step further. I'm not sure what you think about it, Tim.
I think it's a very good idea. I think it's we talk a lot about wanting to. First of all, this is something that it's called expungement. This is a very common concept in many European countries and in America, around the world. The issue is, we talk a lot about reforming prisoners once they're out, but then there's some jobs require you to have a clean police conduct, or even if they don't require it, they still ask you for a police conduct, and if you have a tarnished one, you will automatically, or in the eyes of your potential employer, move down the list. Yeah. Because people don't want to hire a criminal. So what does that do? That means that this person doesn't have the same chances that his peers do, for the simple reason that he had committed a crime in the past. Now, there's no one's proposing that there should be no criminal records at all, or that people should have it wiped out as soon as they've served their sentence. No way. But I mean, if there are people who are suffering the circumstances of something they did, something small, even not something like rape or murder, but something they carried, a crime they carried out 10, 15 years ago, and it's going to stick with you for the rest of your life, it's not proper reform. That.
I mean, in principle it makes sense, but one hopes that at least it's done. We've had cases where people's cases have been removed online, and it hasn't been a very transparent process. So at least if it does come in, one hopes that there's more of a transparent process to give us peace of mind that it's not just people coming up and asking for favors and asking for the records to be removed.
Fair enough. I agree with that. That there should be an element of transparency to it. What Malta had done over there with the court system, it's a little bit different because it's something that the authorities are trying to make it out to seem as though it's the right to be forgotten. When it's absolutely not the case, because the right to be forgotten is asking Google to delist you from their platform. Exactly. This is literally wiping it off the court records, and it's being done completely arbitrarily. This would be done in a more, one would hope, systemic way. So moving on, Finance Minister Clyde Caruana has announced an upcoming major overhaul to Malta's corporate taxation system, and what will be the first major reform since the early 1990s, excuse me. And this is happening in light of global developments in recent years that have been pushing heavily towards a 15% minimum corporate taxation rate. Clyde Caruana understands where the tides are turning, and he doesn't want Malta to be swept up by them or try to challenge them, but rather to react and play in these new waters. In his words, the name of the game has changed. We must be competitive, but the system must also be fair, implying that the current system is not fair, and that's the implication, right? And the current system is the imputation system, whereby foreign businesses are charged on paper 35% flat corporate tax rate, which is extremely high, but then they can benefit from significant rebates and pushing it down to 1% and make them extremely competitive, even against the Maltese competitors. Crucially, he's not explaining what the reform is going to look like and whether the end result will mean that these businesses will have to pay more tax. So the system is changing, but it's not clear whether these businesses will actually have to pay more tax. Is it another kind of rebate, but in a different way? A consultation document will be issued soon, and said to be the next discussion that Malta will have about finances, even if after Malta hopefully passes or gets off the grey list in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hearing about this for a while now, and it seems that now it's finally happening. I mean, in a sense, while one understands that it's a good source of revenue for the country, maybe if our economy can become a bit less tax-based, might be able to develop other industries that could potentially last a lot longer. We'll see. Who knows? Our next story is about former MP Edwin Vassala, who has accused Nationalist Party leader Bernard Grech of trying to turn the PN into a populist party after the opposition leader gave an equivocal answer to a question about abortion on a current affairs program recently. Writing on Facebook, Edwin Vassala said that Bernard Grech's comment about abortion meant that the PN will from now on become a populist party. He said, as things stand, the PN is set to become exactly like Labour. In other words, or according to him, a party that cares only about votes and doesn't care about the common good. Grech was basically speaking during a current affairs program where he said that the PN shouldn't be dictating how people live their lives, and he said that there needs to be better communication with the electorate and should be open to new ideas. As things stand, both parties are against abortion. However, it does feel like Labour has softened its stance to it a bit, especially after Roberta Bella said that he wanted to understand women who sought abortions. It's a debate that we keep having. It's one that I suppose Bernard Grech has maybe realized the PN needs to soften its position on. What do you make of Bernard's comment? It seems like a bit of a change from where the PN was.
It does seem like a change, because it is. He's not saying I'm in favour of abortion, but he is leaving the door open. He's giving the impression, right? In fact, he gave a very interesting comment, which deserves to be analysed quite in detail. He said that the party shouldn't the role of the party shouldn't be to tell people how to live their lives and say that just because we think something is good, therefore means this is the way it should be done, which kind of begs into question, why does the party even exist if it's not going to be a leader? This is the issue, right? So they seem to be caught between, on the one hand, realizing that a lot of people can't stomach them for many reasons. I don't think there's a single reason that the PN is very unpopular. I think it's a number. I think it's fair to say that Labour is extremely popular for, again, many reasons, and the PN has its own faults as well. But it's not you can't pin it down. But so there's that they're balancing it out with the fact that, you know, at the end of the day, you need a political party, needs to be a leader. You have to, okay, listen to society, you need to listen to people, but you're not there as a friend, you're there as a potential government. You're there to propose ideas, and at the end of the day, you can't please everyone, and this is something that you don't understand once and for all. You can't come up with a policy. You have to say, look, this is where we stand. Yes, there's consultation, yes, we discuss, but this is our position. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. You can't try and bring everyone on board. I think this is one of the big problems. What happens then is that you confuse people, you keep making these U-turns, and you attract no one. It's an issue of conviction and courage as well. It's just something that's lacking, I feel. And yeah, finally, watch out if you're going swimming today, because a 1 meter long jellyfish colony from the same family as the deadly Portuguese man of war has been spotted in Malta. Marine biologist and Ambassador Alan Day-Doom published a pretty powerful photo of not an octopus, Siphonophore jellyfish family swimming around St. Julian's in the past days, describing it as a nasty and stinging snake-like beast. So, yeah, it's summer is on our doorsteps, thankfully, but you need to be careful if you don't want to get stung, because there are some stingers out there.
Quite concerning. I don't know about you, what these stories really freak me out.
Yeah, it's nature though.
Yes,
we share the seas with them. I mean, we don't belong in the sea, they do.
I suppose also potential an effect of climate change and kind of.
Not necessarily. Why climate change?
Warmer waters. You start to get migration of species that might not normally inhabit certain areas.
But they do. They've been coming. They often do come. I think. I feel they do come.
That's it from us. Thank you very much for following, and have an evening full of loving.